Sam won't tell this phony story, so I will. Sam had to shoot that logo. Is that not true, Sam?
That's correct. That's not true.
What? Yeah, because that Rosebud was not really a real company.
That's right. Dino De Laurentiis had a company, DEL. Is that it?
DEG at the time.
DEG. Yeah. And he could not release an X-rated movie, which the MPAA had rated Evil Dead 2. So he had to make a cheesy new company called Rosebud Releasing, and Bruce and I were in love with logos. So we shot a logo of this rose in front of this fake Warner Brothers type cloudy backdrop. Is that the story?
That's the story, Sam.
But actually,
who are you anyway?
but actually,
cool stuff there.
it was shot by an animator. We gave him the backdrop. I gave him a storyboard, and he actually did the stop-motion animation. I cannot remember the guy's name.
Right. Well, who are you
That's
anyway?
what this whole Laserdisc is going to be. What was that guy's name?
What was that guy's name? Well, what's your name? We're supposed to introduce ourselves.
Okay. My name is Sam Raimi. I'm the director of this motion picture you're about to see, Evil Dead 2.
Scott?
And I'm Scott Spiegel, co-writer of Evil Dead 2.
I'm Bruce Campbell. I play the idiot Ash, and I co-produced this epic.
Greg Nicotero, special makeup effects.
And the movie begins.
Dun, dun,
The
dun.
movie's half over already.
The first story took us into.
This was actually shot in the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Wadesboro, North Carolina. That's where we
This
shot
is the only part of
movie.
the picture. I think you guys really just dashed us off. I absolutely had nothing to
Right.
do with this because we weren't sure about the whole beginning sequence, which has some. We couldn't get the footage or something from New Line, or Dino couldn't get the footage from New Line.
Right. This is actually a brand new Linda, Denise Bixler.
Right.
And
so,
there's been some confusion of whether Ash would be stupid enough to go back to the cabin for another night.
Right.
Which, of course, he is. But that's another story.
Well, didn't we actually reshoot the whole opening from the original Evil Dead with everybody sitting around with the tape recorder and all that stuff? I remember there was like another Scott that we had shot with, I remember.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sam?
I know
It was
we
like the second day.
We wrote it.
I remember shooting it.
Ever since the accident.
Oh, that saucy little tramp, baby. I
Actually,
am
my
the
favorite
chip,
thing about her
and you are
T-shirt
the
is
dip.
we paraded 2 different T-shirts for her to try on. One was a normal T-shirt that just hung normally. The other one was this vacuum-formed one. And I remember Rob Tappert, the producer, going,
Yeah.
well, there's no question about it, the vacuum-formed one.
Ah, Robbie. I know. He goes,
Baby, you want to play house? You be the screen door and I'll slam you all night long.
no, I'm sorry. I'm kidding,
Actually,
Rob. Sorry,
I
Rob.
want to
Just
talk
joking.
about that little amulet, the one that was bought at Corey's Jewel Box in Michigan.
At the 12, Tel 12 Mall, I think.
Yes, the Del 12
Oh,
Mall.
no.
Sam bought it, didn't you, because of the reflection gag or the magnifying gag?
Yes, originally in Evil Dead 1, what we were going to do was use that little magnifying glass in the amulet to let the sun shine through it, and Ash was going to witness it burning the Book of the Dead, and he was going to realize at that point that burning the book was the key.
All right.
But that got cut out.
And so now
The
we're
fireplace
stuck
would
with
do
the
just
little
well,
amulet.
thank you.
So we got stuck with that cheesy necklace.
Right.
That's Bruce's dad's tape recorder. I remember making tapes with you in high school on that thing.
Yeah, we used that to actually put sound to some of the Super 8 movies.
See what's on
Remember
it.
that, Scott?
Absolutely. Wasn't she married to Steve Gutenberg or something?
She was
while.
for a
a
while.
For a while.
Net to any mail.
So that tape recorder is actually the same tape recorder from the original Evil Dead movie.
Right.
I think it's one of the few actual holdovers because this entire set was obviously rebuilt.
And wasn't that a certain scale castle or
Yep,
something?
there's
That was
the
pretty
forced
cool.
perspective miniature.
That was in Wadesboro, right?
But what kills me is after months of building that stupid thing, it looks like a
cool.
matted-in
looks exactly-
backdrop.
Isn't
It
that
doesn't-
funny? But it still looks
It doesn't
cool,
look
though.
real.
And that's John Peaks on the left.
A Detroit actor.
And he's also doing the voiceover right now, right? On the tape. He's a voice
Yes.
actor.
Right, now a little trivia, the guy who did the voice of the professor, that same character in the first Evil Dead, is Bob Dorian, who now hosts American Movie Classics.
Oh, that's right. Cool.
No kidding. This was the first day of shooting. This was the first time we did any of the makeups because she has, Henriette has contact lenses in the makeup. And I remember trying to get the lighting right where she would rock forward into the light and she'd open her eyes and a horrible, heinous
I
horror
missed
hag.
that. You
Played
guys shot
by
that, but that
Lou
didn't make it in,
Hancock.
right?
That's right.
I really liked that too.
That was really cool. But
It was a good moment, but somehow
too slow.
I don't know. It didn't seem to fit in the pace of this.
Right.
Sam, I have a question. Was that clock the original clock as well?
That is the
I think
original
that
clock.
was a
Right.
holdover,
The
too.
clock and the tape recorder both sat in our Ferndale office collecting dust for about 7 years.
Now, what about the actual?
Eagerly awaiting a
What about the
sequel.
knife of the dead? You know, did that still exist?
Tom Sullivan designed both that original large-scale Kandarian dagger and the Book of the Dead, and they're both. I think both the originals are used in Evil Dead 2 here.
Right. And this cabin was basically constructed on a guy's personal property
Yeah,
in
where they
Wades-
shot Color Purple.
in Wadesboro, North
right.
Carolina.
And then all of this was built, the whole set was a 2-story set built in the gymnasium of the J.R. Faison High School in Wadesboro.
That's right.
Don't ask me why I remember that.
Although weird little bits like this were part of reshoots
That
that
was
were
in
actually done in a
Dearborn?
warehouse in
Dearborn, yeah.
Michigan.
Oh, that's right, because we flew in and did reshoots there, I
Right.
remember.
What the? Quiet.
You don't want them to find us out here. Yeah, this is the same property where they shot Color Purple. There's a house near it.
Oh, no.
No, that wig is from Kmart. Get back.
Man, there's no question about
So
that.
the first 3 weeks we were out on location shooting nights, and they built the castle. I remember
Say
that 'cause-
hello to Papa!
Recap the decap.
Yeah,
the
but
relationship was
Sam-
cut short.
Remember when she had her tennis shoes on, and we did the slow motion shot, and you had to cut out before we saw her feet because she had her tennis shoes on.
I do remember
Of
that.
all the...
How do you remember that strange fact?
I remember. I watched the tapes
Now
of that
there's the
last night.
amulet.
Yeah.
The $12 amulet.
You know, on a night where all this horror is going on, how does he have time to craft that big cross? It's like, just bury her and get inside and bolt the door, for God's sake.
Sam, don't say that. Ash is
Bolt
a very
your
skillful
door.
man.
skip the arts and crafts, buddy.
Okay.
Hey, Sam, will you explain
Yeah.
this phony, this handheld stuff, the shaky cam?
Shaky cam.
This shot is actually shot on a motorcycle I was riding. The camera mounted to it with a spring plate that we designed. I remember when they didn't pull open this second door, I once slammed into that. Bruce, this is the shot where I broke your jaw.
Yeah.
Right, which
Right
wound up being
there.
the last shot we shot of the movie because in case anything happened to me, we'd be fine.
How long did it take to shoot this shot? This was a whole day,
As
right?
I recall, this was one full day, which
Yeah.
this was ironically shot in South Carolina, outside of Cheraw, South
right.
Carolina.
That's right.
Because we had to find a road that was at least like a mile long, where Sam could personally torment me on his little rig,
With
where
the
he could
branches
spin me
and
back
stuff.
and forth in either direction.
That was the most fun I had all shoot, was spinning you on that rheostat, backwards and forwards,
Yes.
ramming you through trees.
Playing me like a video game.
This was the first of many torturous times of Bruce in the makeup with the contact lenses. The
Yes.
makeup was sculpted by Howard Berger. I remember Sam kept saying, "Open your eyes, open your eyes,"
I know, but what was so weird is I couldn't tell whether my eyes were open or not.
because of the contacts in the water.
Right, you can't always really tell.
And I kept saying, "He's going to open his eyes and the lenses will wash away, so we better be careful about
At this point, Peter Deming came to join in
Yes.
of this footage, and I think some of the first stuff Peter had to shoot was doing exposure changes in reverse motion, which obviously was a good hello to
Yes.
this movie for Peter Deming.
Exactly. And there's actually a close-up here of the eye changing, which we shot in the parking lot at K&B, that right there that Bob Kurtzman did.
Which was an oversized
Yep.
piece.
Oversized eyeball.
Gee, that shot's so good it looks like it must have been shot in a garage and not a parking lot. Yeah, that was Peter Deming's first day. I do remember that because Eugene Chugleet and the rest of the first crew left.
Right.
They
After
didn't want
the-
to do all the...
They were busy. They
They
had a
were-
previous engagement.
They did.
Branch Aloris there. every 5 seconds there's branches or things being...
Oh, no.
What a horrible dream.
Now, what did we put in the... Wasn't there something in the puddle that we... like we
Water.
Yeah, horrible dye, no doubt.
Yeah, there was dye in there because we didn't want to put dirt in there because of your contacts.
My policy is to soak Bruce's membranes in as many strange dyes and liquids and potions and chemicals as possible.
Yeah, but I feel pretty good. I think this property had some good trees on it, but other trees were kind of wimpy. So a tree like there was the ported. There were ported trees,
Yeah.
and
And
then
then the
spray
bah
foam
tree.
trees.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't torture me. I didn't even know that. Now it'll torment me.
Yeah, the tops of the trees are like just horribly cut off.
Oh,
they
for
they
the
joined back
love of-
into little
That
tiny
one too.
trees.
Yeah, you couldn't pan up too high because the trees just stopped after about 9
I have a
feet.
photograph of it taken about a year ago, and those phony trees that all the stuff is crumbling off it, but it's still there.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Oh man, maybe they
It's
have
Brucey.
phony termites.
That was a great 360 shot. All the way
Right.
around.
Bob
Look, a
Dyke
match shot.
and Mr. Hitchcock shot those
Right.
matte paintings. Tom Hitchcock, correct?
Right, from Michigan. At the time, it was Magic Lantern Productions.
We had a wonderful script supervisor on this picture, and the most horrible thing happened after the preview in New York. She came out crying. I ran into her. You didn't put my name in the credits. And I went, oh my God, we
Well, she
forgot to
should've-
put her name in the
She
credits.
should have supervised
What was
that.
her name?
Francoise.
I think it was
Francoise,
Francoise.
yeah.
That's okay because she threatened to quit every day because Sam would move furniture around for every shot.
Or the blood
Sam,
would never
Sam,
match.
It
Yeah.
would not match. Sam, don't
I
worry
remember.
about it. Through the camera, it looks fine. No, Sam.
She used to yell at us because we didn't put the blood in the same place twice, and she'd be like, "No, that got some black over there, green over here."
Yeah, you know what? We were the worst people at continuity. We needed her, and she did a good job.
Right.
Very good job.
She
Especially
did
shooting out a sequence. We shot all the night stuff first,
First.
and we had to estimate, for example, what certain
Yep.
things would look like, which you're always wrong.
Oh, there you
I
are,
better get
wiping
that
it
makeup
off.
off.
Wait, here's the first.
Miniature!
Weird
Look out!
insert shot.
Look out, a miniature. That's right.
No,
Well, what I had
don't
to,
make me act with that thing.
I had to keep taking my makeup off in order to add more.
Yeah.
If you just kept adding it on through the
You
course
would've-
of this movie, I would have been the gray man.
You
Sam,
loved
ev-
hitting my car, didn't you?
I did love hitting your car.
You were a vandal in the car in the last picture. That was always a cool matte painting.
That's
I
a
like
great
that.
shot.
Bob Dyke and Tom Hitchcock. They projected Bruce into that little area.
As opposed to Bruce projecting himself.
Well, sure. But I had to yell, so I had to project too.
I smell a blue screen shot.
Uh-oh.
I'm terrified of all these blue screen shots, as you can see. Cut to Sam's car dragged into his studio on its last legs 6 months later.
That car was as healthy as the day it came out of the Ford factory. Problem was, it was an Oldsmobile.
Yeah, because
That's a miniature too, right?
Yeah, again, Bob Dyke and Tom shot
that
that
then
first
goes
piece.
into the location. I actually kind of like this sequence. This is a good, ridiculous sequence.
This was the first day we had the dummy of you that we pulled through the windshield on the wire.
You mean that wasn't Bruce?
No, that was me, Scott.
Bruce, you were doing the driving in shots like that, though, weren't you?
I was doing some of it, yeah.
John
Yeah.
Casino was
John
he?
Casino was my stuntman for a total of probably 2 shots in the whole movie because Sam refused to let him do anything.
Suddenly it's dark.
Because the more that there was a chance of Bruce hurting himself, the more appealing it is to let him do his own
Well,
work.
not only that, with Casino, it was too much of a gamble. Hello?
See that branch?
Hey, it's night.
That branch was piloted by Sam Raimi. I want you to know that.
I know, you could just tell. It's got an extra evil force to it.
And now that rock salt was also
This
thrown
was
by
the Ramo cam. This
Yeah.
is the most frightening shot ever to film. That thing built by Vern Hyde,
Hyde, yeah.
and Dale.
Which
Vernon
was
Dale.
basically a steel pole about 30 feet long with a camera
Yeah.
attached to the end.
And it
And
had
it
a
weighed
spike on it. Yeah.
hundreds of pounds.
Yeah, it was horrible.
And man, you better. I remember I
took
was
about
ramming that
6
thing.
or 7 of it because then you had to feed it through once you got in
Look
the
at
back.
I love
windshield.
this. You have to point out. You can see over the edge of the set and all these
Don't
shots.
ruin the
You're
illusion.
Like, oh look, there's the
Don't-
roof.
I just love how big
Don't-
the cabin is inside.
It's
But why did
huge.
it? Why wasn't it on an aluminum pole or something? I mean, the thing was like rigged to break,
It was
so you
steel.
didn't
No,
need
it
to.
was
You
steel
didn't need
to
to break
puncture
it.
the windshield.
Oh, I
wasn't
thought
it?
that was on a rig to explode, timing wise, but I guess not.
It was, but that would have been too easy.
Where'd Bruce
Oh, no.
go?
I love being so fast that I faked this thing out.
And then it just gets pissed
You're
and
getting
pulls
pretty
back.
cool
good.
thing
This is
about
the
this,
second night in the cabin day.
Is the hidden cuts throughout here to link the outside location to the inside studio.
Yeah.
But
No, it was all
I'll
one
never
shot.
tell where they
That
are.
was all one shot. Yeah.
Yeah,
It just keeps going
Now it's
all the way to
seamless.
Rockingham.
yes. Well, everything's okay now.
That was close.
I think I'll redecorate.
Sam, we sort of got hassled by having one person alone for so much of this movie, didn't we?
From who?
I mean, from the studio.
From Dino?
Of Sam, you can't have one man for half an hour.
yeah, but didn't he read the script? I mean, it was there.
Actually,
David
I wanted to
Tormenton?
make the whole movie with you alone. But
Okay, wait. Here's Goody and
Transportation Captain David Goodman there.
And Rob's coming up there.
Introducing
He
Sarah.
can't get that door
Berry.
open. Look at Rob.
Right.
Like this stupid
That's
door.
Rob Tapper, the producer on the right. He can never
I
get
wish
that
he never
door
told
open.
me that.
He's still there today.
He's,
That's my favorite clip. He still can't get
he
it open.
can't
Look.
get it open. I was so mad when he told me that. I'm like, Rob,
It's like some actors may have just said, I'll pretend that I wasn't trying to open the door and I'll move on.
Right. The cut saved him finally. Now this guy's on QVC or Home Shopping
Is he?
Network
Rick
now.
Francis?
Yeah, Richard Domier.
He was
Or
a
Rick
trooper,
Francis was
formerly.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I saw him like pitching some diamond rings. I'm like, oh, that's what he's doing.
Actually, and his makeup is one of the neater makeups in the movie later on.
Evil.
Scott, what kind
Ed.
of car is that in the background there? That cab? Did you see that cheesy old?
It looked like, I think it was an old checker, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
That's a cool
I think
looking
so.
car.
Or just me.
Just possibly the doorway to another world.
Uh-oh.
What's he so happy about?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I think he has a lascivious mind there, perhaps.
Bruce is for his cuts and
Now, again, this was shot in the first 2 weeks, and we had to guess what had happened to me, so I'm a little over-gorpy
Down,
through a lot of
Bruce. I'm tormented now. I never want.
Now, did you do a lot of
You
your?
should
Did you
be.
do a lot of your own makeup on this one?
You know,
Wendy Bell was
for
the
some
makeup
for
girl,
some
right?
dumb reason, I insisted on using the same Caro syrup solution for my hair. So as a result, I had to sleep with a fly swatter because I was always surrounded by horrible flies.
Well, I remember just making goop jars of goop for you, and you'd come in.
Keep
I
your
need more
personal
gel
life
blood."
out of this, Bruce.
We did a lot of experimenting with gel blood to
yeah.
find one that would hold up to sweat because I was sweaty through the whole movie. Some gel blood ran, other stuff we used Vaseline.
I think Howard made you a nice.
we finally
a
hit
nice
it.
consistency.
Pretty much, cost me enough.
What?
Yeah, because I.
You never paid that bill, by the way.
I know.
Oh, I was a little early.
I know.
Dart Frankel built the original Evil Dead cabin. He was pretty much our production designer, along with your brother, Donnie Campbell.
Right.
And he used to really pride himself on the strange angles that he built his little
Yes.
bookshelves on and the door frames.
Right. They were pre-Dutched.
Pre-Dutched and Hitchcock. He had a little Hitchcock.
Right,
to him.
Hitchcockian, that's right. You know what's weird about the main room of the cabin, though? When they rebuilt it for this movie, they went off old photographs. The main room is actually split in half. There's different paneling on two different sides.
And one of the panels says Kodak on it. They didn't quite understand the pictures.
Yeah, because I...
Why-
So the cabin inherited some weird architectural traits.
It's haunted, I tell
Good thing
you.
I still have that locket.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
relax.
crying because he didn't get the part in Die Hard.
Yeah, that's right.
I think this was a day I wasn't on set. We didn't have any makeup to do this day.
For me, from about the time the end of the sequence starts is where I can watch the rest of the movie. That's where my pain goes away.
Really?
My pain,
Pain goes away
the
on
pain of,
payday.
the pain of watching myself starts right about here.
Oh, here we go. Great
This is a cool scene.
Doug Beswick animation, right?
That's right.
Steve Wang sculpted the puppet, who's...
Doug, who used to do the Sunday morning show David and Goliath.
That's right.
Oh God, I used to.
We were so impressed and terrified from that
Davey.
show on Sunday mornings.
You're
And he
right.
did, yeah.
But
Davey.
Helen Labatt, my old Groves High School drama teacher, choreographed this dance.
That's right. We shot her dancing this, I remember.
Right.
That's right. We shot her dancing this, and then we took that dance and gave it to Doug on a shot-by-shot basis, and he recreated it in animation.
Now, this was actually in the full-size pieces that we built for this were sculpted by Mike Tursick.
Actors.
Mike Tursick.
Yes.
Because he was in charge of this. And then I think Bob Kurtzman applied her makeup when we were on set. And, of course, I had to learn how to put all the contact lenses in everybody like
Right,
3
Greg,
weeks
you
before
do
we
it.
shot. Greg, you stick the lenses
I
in
like that's
everyone.
cool right there.
That was a good gag.
Yeah. I love her scream.
There's a shot. There's
love
a
that.
great shot coming
She
up
was
here
happy
where-
with her performance.
She was.
Sam, this is one of the nights when you guys broke into our room and took the puppet out without us there.
Let me in
And
there.
you can actually see her hair right there is still in a bun because you never took her hair out of a ponytail. We're like, wait a minute.
That's not true, ladies and gentlemen. We would never do anything like that.
Those rubber
Let go of me,
arms,
you
look at
lousy
those.
ghoul.
Those
That's
are bones.
I
Those
love
are
that
bones.
shot. That's a great shot.
I know.
This is the best scream Bruce ever does.
I
though.
know.
No, this is one where Sam goes, okay, now you're too scared to make a noise. You're too frightened. Well, we ran out of screams after a while. There's a scream later where Sam goes, all right, scream like a woman because you screamed like a man for so much. We had to come up with new screams.
This is a great gag.
Scream is all you know.
Coming up.
I'm glad that's over.
Ah.
Now this was actually fake legs. Bruce was on his knees with fake legs.
Right, Denise Bixler was underneath my legs.
And then there was a whole thing she kept saying, and then you just kind of trimmed it down. Aha.
Well, plus originally she had a big tongue that came out and went into Bruce's mouth.
Right, I remember
which we
watching
shot.
the dailies and Sam turning to me going, "That is the worst reverse motion acting I've ever seen." You'd only hear that from Sam.
Does it...
This was a rig that was connected to my arm,
Yeah.
so the head actually could not come off.
Right.
Weird little shots like that were actually Denise walking with the hand.
With a slit throat appliance, which ended right below
that's
her
charming.
neck.
Right.
As
It was
Bruce,
Kurt Russell's favorite.
I got tortured by this line. I met Kurt Russell when I worked with him on Escape from L.A. He comes up to me and he goes, "Say work shed." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" We've been tormented ever since because I did say the word when we filmed it, but we wound up putting it in slightly the wrong place and a little too loud, so it goes, "Work shed."
All right, now I have one thing to say about this next scene because this was written after we had already started shooting, and I remember reading the sequence and this whole new gag where the headless chainsaw body comes
No,
in.
this was written before you
I
guys
don't- I
started
just don't-
shooting.
I don't remember how
Definitely.
we ever, but
Greg,
what-
you had your little problem during
we
that.
added, I think it
you
was
added
written-
some of it.
We added her going nuts in here because
Yeah.
the puppet looked so good. We
Okay.
We extended it on
Oh,
location.
right.
Which was very funny, Greg, because it was a guy on a bass and
Howard
an
was-
that was always
oil-changing
cool.
doll.
Howard was on the creeper, and
Where
I
could
was
that
up.
be?
I was up in the rafters with monofilament.
Like this kind of stuff we added.
See, I thought you guys were going to do it like in Reanimator or something, you know.
We shot that
the
shot
midget
in
and
Michigan.
that- you know what I mean? I didn't know it was going to be like the horror moppet.
Well, that's
How did they do in Reanimator?
Oh, they just it's the old routine where you get
And
a
of course, Sam
short
going,
person with
now,
that
now
headless
take that
body
puppet
rig,
now,
you know.
now smash against Bruce.
But I mean, the way you shoot it, that's the key to make it different. But this is pretty wacky. I love this. Watch this
yeah,
when he
this is
pulls.
great.
Watch.
I don't think they had made Reanimator yet.
Yeah, we. Had,
Oh yeah, no, they had roommates.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
They made Reanimator before we made this?
Yes.
When you and me saw it, you and me saw Reanimator together, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
That was in pre-production?
Maybe just before, perhaps. Yeah, before we shot.
So
in
there's
Detroit at the
that's a
Americana, I
fake head.
think.
That's a fake head on a stick.
I
They
had
were
no
just
idea. I had no idea.
poking it to make it move a little bit.
This is fine.
And then of course the fake vice.
I get a headache watching this. I don't know.
Her shoulders are inside the vice and through a hole in the table. Same thing. See, she's got black bile on her face because she originally spit bile onto Bruce, but
Right,
that got
yep.
cut out as well.
right.
Black and green.
Vice and corruption. Horrible. God.
There's the
demented
Look
scene.
at the shadow of Bruce's jaw. That is the funniest
I
thing
know.
I've ever
It's
seen.
like Dudley Do-Right. Oh no.
That was a fake appliance by K&B.
This is a funny scene because it's as though we had the good taste not to show it.
Right.
Yeah, why are you not, guys? Why are you not showing that part?
Right.
You're showing everything
It was
else.
too horrifying.
Because it was a woman.
Because it was real.
Now it's okay to torment Bruce because, well,
Oh, we're fine.
he's resilient.
Well, I better go back in that happy cabin.
He's a
now
happy
that, now that
camper.
we've got that taken care of.
I hope there's coffee in here.
Coffee mate.
Coffee mate.
It was nice of Professor Noby to lend me that cabin for the weekend. What's this? It's kind of the basis of the movie, isn't it? In a weird way.
It
the
is.
Coffee Mate commercial.
Where's that coffee,
Book of the
mate?
Dead. Think I'll try it. Delicious. Anyways,
I actually like this decision coming up. Ash actually has to decide between a chainsaw and a shotgun.
I know.
Which would be better?
Let's see.
cut their heads off, blow them away. Cut their heads off, blow.
I'll blow them away.
It's a candy. It's a mint.
It's a dessert topping.
You got
All right, Sam won't talk about this, so I will. That's
it.
Sam's voice underneath that chair. It's a rocking chair sound blended, morphed with Sam Raimi's. Since he.
Do that again, Bruce. Thank you. Thank you. It's haunted.
Philip Duffin did this cabin. Remember, we lost our first production designer,
Yeah.
and then Philip
What do you
Duffin had
mean
to
by
finish.
that?
We lost
we
him.
lost him.
Well, there was that
Sad.
bulldozer accident.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
I
But
should
this
probably
cabin-
just touch this thing.
Like you mentioned, Greg, it was built in that gymnasium and up on stilts so that we could build a basement beneath it.
Ah,
It
still
was
house.
super hot in that gym.
Oh, I know. We had those big, and especially once we had Ted in the Henrietta makeup, we had to, blast air just on him because he was so.
This is where Ash realizes he's off his rocker.
Probably hard for them to vent that fire. When I
So
think about that.
So Tony Elwood was a guy that did all the special props, right?
Yeah, he was great. Him and
Wait.
Blanche.
Yeah, Blanche Sindelar.
The sound effect you guys added, that old like
It was
phone off the
it was
hook
a
line.
phone off the hook.
That's
right.
great. Oh, this is cool.
Every day, those guys created a new prop for us, a new specialty prop, and,
Yeah.
and 20 of them
Yeah,
from the
they're great.
laughing
Now we
rooms
got a
and-
local college student to be my double here, and Sam kept threatening, "If you don't do a better job, I'm going to get that guy." At that point, I was like, "Get him!"
So that's actually a
This is
makeup.
expertly done.
That's the Sid Caesar makeup on Bruce. That's
Sid Caesar.
Right, with
look like-
just slightly heightened features.
the evil Ash that Howard sculpted.
Sid Caesar.
We needed the makeup because Bruce can't act.
Yeah.
Let's see, how will we show that Bruce is evil?
Now, how can we
it.
hide his face?
That was a cool little set though, because they built the whole set backwards on the other side of the mirror, just that wall, so that
Right.
so that we could do the illusion of him coming through the mirror, which
That's
always
right.
worked.
Mirror.
Well, I
Bruce-
guess everything's okay now.
I know, but Bruce couldn't see himself.
Animation.
Tom Sullivan did that
Yeah.
for us on the spot. Bruce had to hold his hand still, or at least I'd asked
No,
him
actually,
to.
I drew those.
That was
on
always
there.
cool.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. This is the beginning of the evil hand.
I remember we
Sequence.
filmed some hand appliance stuff, and we
Yeah.
wound up just using this sort of thing.
We actually also had a change-o hand that had like fingernails grow out.
That's right.
And bladders underneath it and stuff like
Right.
that.
Bladders.
Bladders.
But I think with all that effects business, you got to shoot some stuff, and if it works, it works. But it doesn't. You wind up. I think with this film is a real mix and match of all different kinds of
Yeah,
stuff.
and half the once you cut the hand off, half of the hand action was stuff that I was doing
Right.
with my hand through a hole, and then John Volmers,
John Walter,
John Walter,
who was the boom guy.
right, did a lot of the
John
other.
Walter.
and I just have video of Sam going, no, that's wrong. You have to do it this way. Keep the wrist up, and he's like, I'm sorry. So funny. And Bruce kept tormenting me by stepping on my fingers, and I was like, how's that feel?
That's very important. Important to spread it around.
What? I didn't say that, did I?
This is like weird anamorphic.
What kind of car is that, Scott, that they're driving?
Wait, that's the classic.
No, they're not driving the classic. They're driving something else. Bruce is driving the classic.
Danny Hicks.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
What is that?
I'm tormented for all these years. I thought, I don't know, it's shooting in such a whacked out fashion. God, it looks like a stunt double for the classic with some. Yee.
Yeah, sorry guys, my microphone's falling.
Okay,
down.
it's a '68 Impala. There you go.
Is this the road to the Nobi cabin?
That's right. You ain't going there.
And why not?
He's such a lazy character. What I want to know is why would he have gone out of his way? There's one road that leads nowhere, except to this place, to put up roadblocks. Honey, I
somebody-
better go check
yeah.
the old bridge.
Somebody called him.
Drive out there and see.
But then he wasn't going to go anywhere after he put up the little things.
Now, this part,
absolutely.
portrayed by Cassie Wesley, was actually originally inspired by Holly Hunter, who we lived with when we wrote this.
That's right.
Sam had a place in Silver Lake with Joel and Ethan Cohen, and Holly Hunter and Fran McDormand were staying with us.
And Kathy Bates at one point.
Oh yeah, actually, and so we thought Holly was this really cool character, so we wrote this part for her and stuff.
Just remember what.
But I think Rob really let's get some sexy chick and something. I think I don't know if I'm mistaken or not, but I.
Oh, you're
thought-
right.
And I remember Holly Hunter, who was always hanging around the apartment in sweats, reading a script on the couch or something. And then all of a sudden, one day she wore this mini skirt and this very tight top, and I'm like, Holly, you look very nice this morning. She goes, I'm going to audition dressed as a hooker. I don't take that as a compliment. You shut up. And I'm like, okay. But she was very cool overall. But how did I know? I just, she
Were there
transformed.
any other famous stars you wanted to tell horrible tales about?
No, that's not so horrible. No. I didn't. I was probably. What can I say? That's always a cool shot.
Here's Bruce beating the hell out of
I'm
himself.
finding out now.
Yes.
No, this is just classic.
With the assistance of Sam undercranking just a little
Yep.
bit.
at that just perfect speed.
Remember that little camera we had, the Arri S? That's what we shot this with.
Yeah.
Ugly little coffee grinder.
You were actually, yeah. I
But it did the job, right?
Because
It
Sam,
looks
you were
cool.
sitting in the doorway with the little camera shooting up, and then Peter was shooting through the little window
Exactly.
alcove area.
A lot of these
Ow.
bottles and plates were actually holdovers of our Super 8 days. We would always go into a ceramic store and get unfired stuff because
Ah, it was a great
it basically looks like a bowl, but it'll break over your head. So we had years of practice for that.
Scott made a movie starring Bruce Campbell, I think, and myself, Attack of the Helping Hand, which was a big inspiration for this scene.
Right,
in
right.
Super 8,
This is also
was
Sam's
a-
voice on the hand.
which was a comedy version of the Hamburger Helper.
Right.
Helping hand attacking an
commercials.
innocent, right, housewife. A lascivious,
how many
horrible
times did your-
hand.
How many times did your fingernails pop off when we were doing this? Like,
That point of view shot always makes me laugh. The hand's point of view.
Yeah, the hand POV.
Absurd.
Not, ow, 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 ow.
This
That's
was
always
tricky
so
because we
painful.
kind of had one of these, and you guys had to keep it in a refrigerator to keep this
Yeah.
little. It was a
it
gelatin.
was a
hand.
gelatin hand, that's right, and it was about 120 in North Carolina every day, so we had to keep it refrigerated, I remember.
That was a good choice to make it gelatin. It moved real well.
And then even when Bruce takes his hand off the knife,
J-E-double-L.
How'd you make the decision to go
Double
gelatin?
bad.
just because it had more realistic consistency versus like foam, which kind of looked rubbery.
Yeah.
It was a little translucent. It was me spraying blood in Bruce's face for one of 800 different
Well,
times.
what
in
was
the
funny
movie.
about that shot is, as the shot creeps into my face, there's 19 crew members coming with the camera, holding Hudson sprayers
Yeah.
and things like that.
That's right.
So herein lies the payoff of the gag.
Right.
I remember that it was very difficult directing the shot. No, you in the second flashlight, move it
yeah.
left after your second step. Oh, Christ, forget. Just come forward. It was so I
Oh,
couldn't see
further.
them.
And hold that flashlight on those pages. And the gag is with this trunk. When we did the Foley for it, we added like horrible heavy things in there when he does a stumble.
So you hear things shifting around in the trunk,
Right.
sort of, right?
Miniature.
Miniature, yeah.
Bob
That's a great.
Dyke,
That's
Tom
a great
Hitchcock.
image.
Actually,
Now that's my hand right there.
It is?
who
Yeah.
built that?
But-
Gary Jones, maybe. Maybe he had something to do with
I
that.
think
Yeah,
so.
I think Bob had to do with a lot of the miniatures, the Magic Lantern.
that was one of the times when they cut a hole in the floor and my hand was through a hole.
Farewell to Arms by Stubby K.
That was a gag in an earlier movie we did.
That's a Scott gag.
By Stubby K. That's so stupid. As if he was a writer.
Gaffer's tape. Well, as long as that hand is there, I'm okay. I feel-
Everything's all right.
Oh, no.
Great music in this movie, by the way.
Yeah, Joe
music is
LaDuca.
really amazing.
Low Joe Duca.
That was a big deal. Was getting the stump to look right.
Well, what really
Yeah.
finally made it less onerous was the fact that there was a steel plate that would keep my wrist from
yeah.
wiggling.
And then it had a flat plate on the front.
Had a
with
flat
the stump.
plate, and then
Ah, it sounds
I
painful.
just had to keep my hand back a little bit, so it didn't give it away too horribly.
Joe had the great idea of scoring this like a Warner Brothers cartoon.
Right.
Joe LaDuca really helped the sequence. Made it work.
Stop motion animation by Rick Catazone, right? Did Rick Catazone do that?
Sounds like
Yes.
a drug.
He did a great job.
I'm on
it, too.
catazone.
The funniest thing is when the hand crawls in there, we did a bunch of different takes where we had that rat standing right in front of the hole because you wanted the rat to be coming out as the hand went in.
That's funny. I like
So
that.
hilarious. 'Cause there's like shots of the rats just standing there like, what the heck's happening?
I love that reaction from Bruce.
I like this combination. It's a combination of stop motion and
the
hand
prosthetics.
Right.
hands and prosthetics. Yeah.
Is this the blood flood coming up?
Yeah. It's a
Don't
blood
ruin
flood.
I'm just remembering being on top of the set and shooting. We had to do that twice.
We had to do that a bunch of times to
Yeah.
finally figure it out. Finally, coming up in one of the shots, the set had to be turned sideways so
Right.
that we could get a downward flow of the water. And Sam goes, "Now, if you're drowning, Bruce, wave your arms." Well, what am I supposed to do? Wave your arms.
Like,
We actually, I remember.
There,
we,
that's the
yeah.
sideways set. I was blowing red out of
And
my
you're
nose for
propped
about
up.
2 weeks.
there's like some sort of a prop right up to your shoulders.
Right, I was basically on a diving board type
Right,
thing to
right.
keep me level.
But then at this point, then Vern Hyde had those shots where I remember after shooting the shot, we couldn't shoot in there for like the rest of the day because all the blood had to drain out.
It all had to drain out, yeah.
I
We
know.
had 2 55-gallon drums stacked on top of each other, and there were 4 of those, I think.
Yeah.
And Dale, his assistant, they both did it. Great mechanical effects engineers.
For Riot, oh no, it's Vern. We must hide.
Now, again, we had to estimate what that blood flood would wind up making me look like.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
We shot that
in
later
reality,
in
I
the
was
shoot.
just one uniform gray color, but we had to give it some variations.
This whole laughing room scene, Sam and I were writing the script, and I did a cheap joke with this gooseneck lamp that we had. And I did a fake Popeye laugh. When I moved the gooseneck lamp, and Sam goes, "We're going to make a scene out of that." And I go, "Yeah, sure we are." Cut to this. This is like one of my favorite scenes, too. Look at that. It's that same gooseneck lamp, too.
And while we were filming, I remember we dragged various crew members. But we dragged every crew member we could find to come in and record a laugh.
That's cool.
Because occasionally,
He's demented.
You have a crew member who had a pretty good laugh.
Oh, yeah.
And then for this shot, we basically brought every crew member out of the offices because everyone had to wiggle or move something between the clock and the bouncing waste can and things like that.
It was all rigged again by Tony and Blanche.
Yeah.
The puppeteer in that waste can is not doing a good job, though.
It's just sort of floating.
It's like bounce it around like it's laughing. Instead, they're just like up there with a fishing pole. No, let it touch
not
the
really-
ground, guys.
they're
Let
not
it
quite-
touch the ground.
really into it.
Not really. It's probably some heavy grip up there going, what the fuck? is
Smoking
going
a
on there?"
cigar.
Sam's direction on that shot was at the beginning, I'm supposed to be laughing my head off, and then by the end, screaming horribly. So I've got the length of a dolly track to go from
Now he just shot at Annie, right, in the doorway.
But she really actually got
Bobby Joe.
Oh, that's right. I forget who he. I didn't remember.
Bobby Joe.
I'm a big fan of these long shot, slow,
They
quiet
torment the
scenes.
audience.
Of course, because then he goes right out of frame.
Because in crowded audiences, it gives them a chance to go, "They're coming! It's a monster!" It just torments them. They can babble
But this
ad nauseum.
still could be the spirits messing with him,
That's
They're
the
not
edge of-
exactly sure, but
Right, exactly.
could maybe be them.
That's the edge of the set right there.
What
with
the-
those little flowers and stuff hiding the balcony where we used to walk up the steps right there.
All right, then.
Sam's like, how does he remember all this stuff?
You have a great memory for these details.
That's just me.
Well, I guess it's okay now. There's nothing out there.
Lower the gun.
The guard is down. And actually, it's great about that scare because technically Ash would have to have seen him for at least like 3 seconds before.
Absolutely.
That's what's great. But that's why it works so well because it's
Right,
you're like, whoa. Or he could have been like way super
The
fast.
thing I
too.
really like about this scene is that in England, they cut what they cut out of this out of the whole movie was me getting kicked when I'm unconscious, because in England you can't kick a man when he's down. But of course you could lop heads off and arms and legs, but
Right.
you can't kick an unconscious man.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I think so.
You know this son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh.
I beg these actors not to harm Bruce in any way.
Yeah.
I beg these actors. And this always is great.
Uh-oh, the chainsaw with the blood on it.
And yeah, that ominous scare cord.
You bastard.
What the hell did you do to him?
Yeah, don't worry about it. Bruce is fine. You can just shake him and slam his head.
Sure, you hit his head on the floor.
He's really
several
used to
times.
this. Don't worry about it. Don't be afraid. He wants you to do it.
He's trying to think of what nasty things he can do to Bruce. Look at him.
We'll throw him in there.
I like
That's a
that
good
scene.
idea. I know. It's just so horrible. The audience is like so tormented. Okay, they feel sorry for this poor
He's a
guy.
coward. He wants to harm a guy that's down again and again and again.
And the audience is so tormented. They're like, no, what are
Right.
you doing? It's like the
He's
worst
the-
idea in the world.
As dumb as Ash is, he's
This
actually
is
a
my favorite
capable
shot,
guy
one of my
with
favorites.
regard to dealing with monsters. So he's the
Yeah,
wrong guy to
he
throw
just-
it down there.
I know. He want him on your side, not. Oh,
No.
Remember we put that line in?
This was a
Yeah.
very good stunt, I thought,
Right.
by John Casino. It's one stunt that's
right.
like, I'm not going to hurl myself down these stairs, but he really did. He got all amped up and just flung himself down those
But
stairs.
there was
Killed
just
his
a
back,
one
too.
clean shot of it where it really looked painful. I think through editing, you like maybe almost twice elongated the fall itself. Maybe took a little of the pain out,
Right.
which is kind of cool.
And Tony and Vern helped me with some breakaway steps.
Right.
How many
Made it
times did we
seem like
break
he was-
those steps, though? Because then we throw ash through them later when Henrietta comes out of the ground, too. So it was like we broke those steps like 6 times.
Well, it was a 12-step program, as I recall.
These are my father's things.
This is my dad's tape recorder.
This is some exposition.
These are his condoms? No, they're horrible.
Bruce wouldn't let me throw him down the steps. I'm afraid, Sam. I'm
For the
afraid.
first time in my life, I'm afraid.
I said, Bruce, don't be afraid. And he started to cry. And it was real embarrassing for the crew and the cast. I pulled him in another room and I said, Bruce, I want you to pull yourself together and do this little stunt. This is not a big flight of stairs. And I swear to God, he started to cry and I had to hit him. I slapped him and I brought him around. There's a PA walking through the door. That's why sometimes you hear this story being told.
That's true.
I said, close the door, son. You shouldn't see this. He closed the door and
And then Joe Winograd came in and
about an hour
pulled you
later,
up.
Bruce went home because he had broken down.
Don't bring that story up, Sam.
And
I was scared.
John Casino finally did the piece of business.
for $50.
Well, at least
Oh,
it's
there's the
calm
rat.
down here.
That was a rat, Senor Cajones.
Cojones is Spanish for...
This is where Sam says, all right, scream like a woman.
All right,
Let me hear
now,
you scream like a woman.
The only thing I have to say is, all right, there's some stop motion. That was stop motion by Rick Catazone. This is probably the person that was tormented more than Bruce in the movie, Ted Raimi.
Yeah.
Who had to endure
Ted was.
the hours and
Because
hours
otherwise
of
it would have had to
makeup.
have been Lou Hancock, but she was a little, I think she probably wouldn't have taken that abuse very well. So Sam figured, well, let's just torture Ted. He's a young kid.
Plus,
And
needs a
he had
SAG
no
card,
idea what he was getting himself into. I mean, Mark Shostrom sculpted this makeup and applied it. He was the head of the department, of course, and it's really an amazing makeup.
Horrifying.
Full body suit, feet.
Which was about a 6-hour job, right?
Yeah, it was like 4.5. I think
looks
when we first
putrid.
did
It's
it.
really it's a good job you guys did.
Well, he had dentures, contact lenses. Every ounce of his skin was covered.
It was something horrible.
Something horrible.
My favorite image is you guys on video. You got taking his little monster booties off at the end of the day and pouring the sweat in and
please.
saving it in cups.
Unpleasant.
There's the Pee-wee head.
And who did that stop motion bit?
Rick Catazone. Now, this is all skip frame stuff. I remember
Yeah, Skip did a good job.
Skip was excellent.
But that was a head, obviously, Mr. Pee-wee head.
Yeah, Mark Shostrom sculpted that, of course, as well. And I think Larry O'Dean did the mechanics.
Ouch.
I love that gag with
I
the hole
got
in
a
the wall. under
headache.
That's excellent.
I love it when actors get beaten up. They don't get beat up in movies anymore. It's like not politically correct or something.
I know.
Here we go.
Eyeball,
Eyeball,
fly ball,
Pring.
kind of doing the whole like riff
You have to
on
talk. You guys
the
have to
Three
talk about the
Stooges
genesis of
microphone.
that, yeah.
I was watching this movie in New Orleans with a test screening, and that's when 2 guys got up and ran out of the theater, and not because they were afraid, it's because they were laughing so hard. They had to pat themselves on the back because
I
they were both
know.
out of breath.
Those were gelatin eyeballs, too. We had to keep those in the refrigerator until we were ready to shoot with them because we were afraid they were going to melt.
Who would run out of the theater because they're laughing so hard? That doesn't make any sense.
It was very strange. These were strange guys, and then they stayed at the exit door the rest of the time going, Everything's okay now.
There's something out there.
He just figured that out.
He's trying to warn them.
That witch.
This is where Ash is spewing wisdom, I want you to know. He's the only guy who knows what's going on around here.
It lives.
He's trying to remember his lines.
That's where those William Shatner pauses come in
He had
handy.
6 lines in this script. He can't remember it. It lives out there in the woods. Out there in those woods.
Well, it's terrifying. On the call sheet, it said Bruce has dialogue today.
Uh-oh. Bobby Joe.
Oh, no.
You're getting manhandled there. What's that? What's
I
going
know,
on
he's
with that?
groping me again. Jake has a secret thing for me, I think.
Oh, here's the lullaby.
Haunting.
Well, here's what I need you to do, lady. Get down in the cellar and start singing this song.
But I want to be in Places in the Heart with Sally Field. How did I end up
Get
here?
in that cellar!
When you were a baby. Mother, unlock these chins. Quickly.
She She's good though. She was also in that film Miracle Mile, which is kind of a cool film.
No, look at him.
I know better.
I know.
She's got
Don't fall
contacts
for it.
in. Just don't do it.
You were
Oh,
born
no, she's not.
September 2nd, 1962.
I love Joe's scoring here. He took that theme and
Yeah, it's very creepy.
underlaid it here.
So strange it would be snowing in September.
They were making snowmen, little snowmen.
That thing in the cellar is not my mother.
Oh, here we go.
It's not my brother.
Yeah, this is a cool monster. Horror monster.
This is a great makeup. Shannon Shea designed this makeup. It's so excellent.
Look at that mouth. It's really interesting.
This is
design.
me talking, Sam.
That's
and
right.
I was just supposed to be for a temp mix, you guys, and then you use it in the real movie. I'm like, wait, I can
you know
do it
what?
so much better.
I actually did some looping for this that we did in Ferndale, Michigan, just for a temp also. And then when I did it out here in California, Sam went, "No, I like that other stuff better." Because sometimes when you do temp
weird.
stuff, it just works better.
That's
so
weird. Or you get used to it or something. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
This monster's so cool. I love this move Sam does with this creature. Watch it. Just like Vaso torture. Yeah, all of a sudden just...
Oh, that's
it's-
right. And we actually made a fake head. That fake head that swallows the
That's
right.
swallows the hair.
Disgusting.
Oh.
Horrible.
Talk about a furball.
Look at that mouth. That's the tooth, the whole tooth, and nothing but the tooth.
There was just a book that had like all the famous like Texas Chainsaw Psycho, and it had Evil Ed on there. I thought that was such a really cool like thing.
Now
Just
we
feeling
did
a
it.
little
We
lightheaded.
he also had finger extensions on, and then he had dentures that had extra sets even
Plus,
behind
this is
the
my
dentures.
favorite part. It's okay,
Come
now,
back here, you
now,
filthy-
Bruce. I want you to look like you're sort of afraid, but you're not really. And we want you
That
the
was
audience to
great.
think
I
you're
love
a
that
coward.
shot. Ow.
Oh my!
This is our lame attempt to get an R rating. We were
Yeah.
contractually obligated to deliver an R-rated picture, so we use pretty much every color but red.
And actually, I think this was.
But
That was my hand, and it was John Walter's other hand because we kept having
right.
to stunt double our hands.
But wasn't there a shot that you filmed of actually the monster with its head severed?
Yeah,
I
it
think
comes
so.
back to life. Actually,
Oh, right.
at this point, there was a whole sequence where the body parts are still on the ground alive, and Bruce yells, "Get the chainsaw! We're gonna chop them up!" And then he gets up, and half of his head is gone, and all that stuff.
Ouch.
Everyone's looking at me, going, "Did that ever happen?"
No, I don't know if I have a different memory. I remember we had a shot of all the pieces flopping on the body, flopping on the floor, but I don't remember an additional sequence.
Well, once we cut the top of his head off, then they fought with him a little more with
You're right
the top
about
of
that.
his head missing.
Chop top.
Yeah, chop top. That's right.
That trail we came in here on? Well, it just ain't there no more.
Is that a dove that's out of sync?
Yeah, a little out of sync. Sure, you got to have a little rubber.
We just swallowed her up.
I'm dubbed something
Wood
fierce.
just swallowed it up. Actually,
He's
kind of
waiting
like
for her.
I like
That's a
I
weird,
like this
like,
sequence
shot
because
there.
at one point there's actually absolutely no sound on the soundtrack whatsoever. There's no ambience. There's no crickets. And every sound eventually just goes away for a couple of seconds before all this noise starts.
The boom boom room.
Oh, that's right. I remember. Yeah,
Yeah, some anamorphic.
that was the inner velocitor shot, right?
Intervalometer with an anamorphic lens.
Right. And it went.
Unsqueezed.
We made a lot of these little whoosh by sound effects with a toy that you can buy at a drugstore. It was a little wow wow sound effect that we kind of mixed with other stuff.
Now those shots took a long time to do because you were
Yeah,
sort of,
it's like animation with humans.
yeah.
It's nice though. It gave a very strange effect. It flattened everything. It looked like a picture book or something.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, here's.
Maybe something trying to force its way into our world.
Why would you say that?
Because it's a horror.
Why would that thought occur to you? That doesn't make any sense. I always laugh when I hear that.
I know, but he knows these spirits somehow better than the rest of those guys.
He does. Ash knows what's going
He's
on.
got
He's not
he
half
does.
as dumb as he
Like
looks.
a fifth and
Or
a
maybe
half,
it's a spirit
5.5
trying,
cents.
Maybe it's a spirit trying to revert to its unborn stuff. Why don't you say something like that? That makes about as
He's
much
not that
sense.
bright.
This is my Ronald Reagan imitation coming up.
We'll all go in together.
Me and Mommy.
Oh.
Hell no. You're the killer.
I thought you meant the part about Not remembering that there's monsters in that room.
Yeah, that's right.
I
A
don't remember.
mouse.
Well, I don't recall that there were monsters in here. I'll
She just leaves.
I'll have to have a look.
I'm scared, I'm thinking.
Dang, Nabbit, I'm coming with you. Bringing the lantern.
Dang that.
Never mind that. Get the chainsaw.
Finally, someone else who can suffer with me.
A lantern, that's a good idea. That'll stop the
It's
monsters.
a magic lantern.
Lady, why don't you turn around and get the gun, the saw, and a blade, and I'll
And the
stay here.
axe.
Why do we have to go in that room is what he should be saying.
Because she has to see who it is that's in the room.
Something's
Nobody
trying
else would
to-
recognize her.
Remember,
except
Sam,
for-
we were going to have a whole seance scene here in the script. Remember that? That was kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, I don't know why that we cut that out.
I'm not sure. It would be kind of cool.
We
Maybe
couldn't
it-
afford a Ouija board?
Joe Stillman.
No, it just-
Joe Stillman wouldn't
It
let
would
us
have.
get one.
It would have been kind of cool, actually. They could have had a makeshift kind of seance thing. For some peculiar reason, didn't quite jibe or something.
I thought Joe did a good job in this picture. He was our production manager, line producer, I think. Very good job.
Ah,
Really kept control of the budget, allowed us to do a lot.
Shit. I told you there weren't nothing in here, nowhere.
he's such a loser.
Wait, I forgot about this. Okay,
It's a good gag.
I remember now.
Well, everything's okay now. I like this effect. John Peaks, the actor, did a really good job of portraying that kind of 1960s Halloween record type agony.
Right, I know.
You mean the
Thrills and
Walt
chills
Disney,
of the haunted house.
yeah.
Dark spirit,
Because he's like in horrible agony. I really like that.
your salvation lies there.
Weren't we going to have it come out of the wall, kind of like that Frighteners type of effect or something? It just was not budgeted.
Well, I know that his
but-
makeup was kind of black or white to allow
Yeah.
for some of that.
Yeah, Howard did sort of like a
Composite.
highlight and shadow makeup
Yeah.
on him.
This weird sound as the traction of the pages was done with a basically a dust-off can into an oil funnel, and then we just sampled that and played it like a musical instrument.
Tamaqua t-shirt.
All right.
Jake,
Great camp for boys and
my
girls.
hands are tied.
Uh-oh.
We put it in the original Evil Dead also.
That's right.
Oh, no.
It's hard to put it in a Western.
I'm not holding your hand.
It's hard to put a delta also.
Oh, that evil hand again.
That's the radio-controlled evil hand that Larry O'Dean built for us. That's right, because she runs off into the woods.
She panics.
It's just
We all
so
know what happens
funny.
when you
And
panic.
then he wants to go out in the woods and try. It's like, oh, man.
Ash is a fool, but he's not a panicker. Panickers die in these movies.
That's right.
The whole idea behind this was actually to take that, what happened in the first one step further and take around like that wacky joyride and stuff.
Right.
And obviously, what would have been kind of actually originally, Sam, I think we did it with a guy. Remember,
this
we
scene-
had like those horrible convicts. You know, we had like a whip plot of like
Oh, yeah.
convicts tormenting Bruce or something. They buried the treasure, but this is going to happen to a guy, which obviously would have been more painful. And the idea was that he was being dragged. And actually, I think you would try to do it with this. You did it with this or something, but for taste version, you cut it out. And you get the overhead traveling shot as the vines are opening up his legs, his or her legs. And then you cut to that tree coming right in there and splits him in two like a wishbone. But
right.
it's pretty damn effective. This worked great actually, and that's way it's pretty grim.
This is all done
This
with,
stuff's more fun and more cool.
this is all reverse
cooler,
action
actually.
stuff.
Right.
I love that horrible like fly like weird soundtrack.
I
thing
think
that
Cassie did a
accompanies
really
the
good job
visuals.
with this because you do have to act
Whoa.
in reverse motion. You've
Right.
got to start.
Yeah, you're right.
You have to remember
That's right.
everything
She-
backwards.
a
And
horrible.
when you
Well,
watch it,
that's-
you don't really notice.
That's a reverse shot of the vines being pulled out of her face. They were latex vines, and then
I
we
think she's
reversed it. So
she's
that they
actually
go
still
in.
on one of those soap operas. I think I forget which one, but
As the stomach turns.
one of them.
Well,
is
she
cool.
used to be on Guiding Light,
Yeah, maybe it's Guiding Light. I don't know. I could have sworn I saw him. I went, wait, I know who that is.
but I don't think she's on that show anymore. That was years ago.
I know, it was weird, though. Maybe it was some other show. I don't know.
She's happily married and living in Los Angeles. I spoke to her about 2 years ago.
Oh, cool. Oh, very fancy. I like that transition, Sam. That's cool. No, that's so cool. Very eerie and effective.
We gotta go out there and find her.
Screw off.
Went out in those woods.
She's not.
Forget about it.
We gotta go out those woods. What an idiot.
What's wrong?
Like someone just walked over my grave.
I should have helped you with a camera thing there, probably. And relied less on your, quote, acting.
You know what kills me?
This is nothing but a vicious attack.
This picture has me with white pants and a
How
blue
rude.
shirt, and what it was a sketch taken from like a Polaroid or something. I went out there just in rehearsal clothes with
I
white
remember,
pants
yeah.
and a blue shirt, and that's what they wound up drawing.
They didn't really understand.
They didn't know Ash's wardrobe from the.
I
from
don't
the
know,
first
for
movie.
whatever reason.
Well, I get, it's funny that Tom Sullivan did not draw that page for some reason.
Right.
Tony may have. Did Tony draw?
Could it have been an after thing that we shot later or some nonsense?
No.
No, it was there.
Uh-oh.
Rotten
It was
Applehead.
Rotten Applehead.
Rotten apple.
In the flesh.
Why the hell would we want to do that?
Recitation of the second passage.
She saves your butt in this picture. That girl really...
She kind of
She's
does in a
very-
weird sort of
she's-
way. She
she's-
says
She's real serious.
Ash's ass.
She's very serious, yeah. She's really,
Dark spirit can be forced back
we should have made her an evil horror woman, though, for a second. I
She would have been great as a monster.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
She's
Think
got those good
Rob-
hard features.
Rob really thought like she should be like. They made her look like that in one of the posters, and we're going.
Running this show now.
That's
my
right, yeah.
favorite
And she looked
part.
cool. I love that.
Yeah, the British poster has
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, that British poster looks like a scene from House on Haunted Hill. The
Yeah.
she-hag in the cellar.
Yeah, the witch woman. That's great. Yeah, exactly.
I like trying to reason with Jake. If he'll just listen to me, everything
He's
will
starting
be
to
okay.
listen a little.
But he's too stupid.
It's so great. What an
He's
idiot.
just too lazy to listen.
Danny
that's all.
Hicks did a great job. He's such a horrible creature in this. Don't mean squat. Don't mean squat. Of course, naturally, he has to throw him down there. Although I thought when you did it, he should have been right there to begin with.
That's
That's
how
the only
guys-
thing that kind of tormented me. He shouldn't have. It was, he should have just been there and just lifted his foot and tossed him down, so it was as painless as possible.
Block the scene then if you feel that way.
Well,
Well, the cabin's still there. We can go back.
sorry
on,
about
sure.
that.
Yeah, it's in such good shape.
It's in such good
Now,
shape.
this again
Will
was
you
shot
The
in the
beginning
first
of the
2
movie.
weeks. I actually lost quite a bit of weight during the course of this movie. You can see that I'm physically much heavier in this, and we had to just sort of pour. Sam took
You're
these
kinda fat.
styrofoam cups with just different colored goo and poured them on because we had no idea what some of the effects
Goo-goo?
would be to this point. We had to sort of guess.
Oh, this.
Because we shot all the exteriors first.
The
nighttime
first 2 weeks.
exteriors.
Yeah.
That's right. There was a great gag that we actually shot when Bruce becomes possessed. It's not in the movie, but I have video of it, of you picking up a squirrel.
Yeah, and eating it.
And
You
eating
the
it.
guts out of the squirrel.
I
And
remember-
there's a piece of monofilament on the tail, wiggling the tail, and it's so funny. I think they're going to put it on the disc. It's so funny.
That was a mongoose, actually.
That's miniature, right?
Yeah, also in Michigan.
Because what happened was we shot this from May until almost
It's
September
built. Nice
of
and
1986.
Right.
And then I remember we went off and did Creep Show 2, and then we came to Michigan in December and shot additional stuff, including the shot of Linda getting the torso getting shot and stuff like that.
That's right. Was that weird seeing us in our nest in Michigan?
I didn't really
nest.
see much of you guys except for we're all on set. I remember Denise Bixler showing up with like this big giant fur coat and going, "Oh hi, okay, well, guess we can't put any blood on you." But we shot all those others.
But
all
she was
that
a
other stuff.
trooper, that Denise.
She was great.
An actress that you can really put through the paces like that. Bend this way.
She had a
and
lot of-
put your head in this
Ow!
weird position.
Yeah, she had a lot to do.
She did a lot and did
He's
well.
even horribly mean to her. What an evil
He's
character.
mean to everybody.
You love this.
This is a crybaby coward. I like it
your
because
favorite gag, Scott.
you hopefully expect him to get it.
I know.
What I like about Danny is when he came into audition, he was fine and everything, but then when he pulled out his teeth,
Ah.
is this a little better? I think that's what sealed his part.
Oh,
I like how horribly sweaty he is.
I know. It's just,
And now he's terrified.
We have to talk about this because this dummy.
I love this simple little effect here. That rules.
That shot of the
That really
dummy,
looks painful.
Sam's like, I want to be able to lift up this dummy over his head. And we're like, oh, okay. So we tied monofilament to the arms and legs so that it could kick while Bruce picks it up.
That's right, yeah.
And it looks so funny. I mean, it cuts great, but see, now that's back on the stage because that's in the at the back door with the leaves. And the one thing I don't think anybody realizes is that when you have those contact lenses on, you're completely blind.
Now you can't see squat.
You can't see anything. So anytime we would put the lenses in Bruce, we would have to lead him around, and he'd have to rehearse blind.
Sam, is that a replica there or the real thing?
I believe that's the real thing. Tom Sullivan. I had saved them, actually. The Book of the Dead and the Kandarian Dagger. I believe Tom Sullivan now has the original Book of the Dead. But that is from the first picture. And it was still rigged to pour blood out of its snout from when you stabbed Shelley in the first picture.
That's right. I like this section of the film because it's a bit of a throwback to Within the Woods, the Super 8 film that we used to raise money for the first Evil Dead, because at one point one of the characters becomes possessed and you lose basically your main character now is a horrible possessed monster. I think it's a really good twist in the course of the film.
Exactly.
It really, I think it keeps people kind of guessing of what anything could happen in this movie, which is, I think, fun. I'm laughing because one of my favorite sequences
It's coming up. I know what you're going to say. I'm laughing my head off, too. And
it's the most horribly violent, painful scene ever shot. I can't breathe.
Smart girl.
Yeah, Ash would have just opened the door. She's way smarter. This series should have had her. It would have been a lot shorter. It would have been only shot one sequel.
He's the most unsympathetic character in movie history. He's just the most horrible animal. He's absolutely useless.
But I find him infinitely entertaining because he's such a fool.
Ash saying that about a character is a very unique thing.
I know.
I know. I'm saying that someone else is a moron.
And then Within the Woods, it was Ellen Sandweiss as the girl and me being tormented. I could feel his pain.
She keeps closing the door. Here's you ripping the door off the hinges.
Yeah. Just make that.
Really milking that screen door, aren't you?
Yeah. Well,
it was a screen test.
I wanted screen time.
Although her scream is
that woman has got a
weird.
scream.
Yeah, I don't know. Just cut to Ash on the other side, plugging his ears. You win.
Can't stand it any longer.
Damn you!
This is it. I absolutely love this scene.
I love when he says,
I can't breathe. Because first she has to pull the knife out, and then she's going to drag him about 90 feet down the hall.
That's a... it's too horrible. It's really disgusting.
He should just say to her, don't do me any more favors.
Just leave me alone.
Now, didn't he...
She's only dragging him to be ground up after all.
She's dragging him to his death.
Well, here's the weird thing. In the script,
the script
my
was
imagination is that, again... He always ends up by that trap door, either to throw the pages down or to what's about to come up here to be eaten. But I'm so glad that this worked out this way, because this is one of my favorite things in the movie. It's just the most painful, funny thing I've
She's yelling at him to shut up.
Oh, I know. It's just the funniest thing in the world. So I'm so glad that you guys did this.
So, Sam,
that was so classic.
Was this... I don't remember this being the original way that he died.
He's screaming at him.
Because I don't remember... I remember us shooting another version, I don't know if you remember, of him getting killed, because I know that this was an afterthought of all the blood gushing out of this trapdoor.
What was our original idea?
I don't remember. I'm seeing if you...
I thought that Scott's story was that the original idea was he just lands when he came in the door right near the trapdoor.
Right, of course. Then you get to the logistics and you go, wait a minute. Well, the trapdoor can't be there. It's it's just one of those things when you get onto the set and go, okay, wait, forget that. So this is so hilarious.
This is a great gag. I
remember
the
whole scene is just one of my favorites.
This was another one of the fire hose.
Well, it's kind of frustrating on one level, because it's like, I understand Sam having to direct this because, but I mean, I thought the blood would be about...
At this point, I would have let go if I was... You don't
See,
want to
but
be
I
pulling
don't-
up what's on the other end of that.
That's what
thing.
I'm saying. Is I don't remember that blood spray being something that we initially did. I think that was something later. We went, oh, it wouldn't be cool if
Well,
we
see,
did
'cause-
that. Because now look, she's perfectly clean.
Right.
And Sam, we had a gag where like that, where you think it's Ash
right.
entering the room, and it was just the severed hand, another one of those hand routines. But I think
That's right.
you trimmed it out just for pacing and stuff. Oh, that
Good
stunt
stunt
woman
lady.
was great. Yeah, that then the
Yeah,
that was a
what
good stunt.
cutting and the
Debbie-
shots of that.
Debbie Lynn
that was
Allen. What was her name?
terrific.
I can't remember her name.
Now, you're right. What happened originally was he was simply pulled down into the cellar, and that was it.
Right.
But later, when it came time to shoot that moment, I thought it'd be better to have a
Horrible blood spray.
fire truck. Right.
I didn't think it would be that much blood or whatever. I thought it just might be a couple gallons.
Well, there's an intermediary stage makeup here that Howard did on Bruce with bladders underneath for the swelling. and
His
stuff.
primitive wheels are turning.
No, I love that. Remember that
He
routine?
remembers the good old days. Good old days when he was here at the cabin before with his other girlfriend. You will believe a monster can cry.
Poor Ash. Yeah, originally we had an intermediary stage. Remember with the bladder?
Yeah.
Some bladders underneath it to show the transformation.
But considering
like
the
Jesus
performance, I
like.
thought it was best to trim it down a bit. Get right to the point.
So to speak.
I like how long it takes to convince her that I'm not bad anymore. She keeps attacking me like 4 or 5 times.
I know that axe is a little too light. It always lightly bothers me.
It's the Porta rubber axe.
It's like, yeah, it just needs to be like 8 ounces too heavier or something. But that's all right. It comes mighty close to Bruce. He does his Chuck Heston
Yeah,
thing.
I was gonna say there's the Charlton Heston.
greatest people!
Get your dirty paws off me.
You damn dirty.
Huh. All right, see? Everything's going to be fine now. Ash is back, so shut up about it.
But for how long?
Now she's pissed again.
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
like, leave
She's
me
a little-
alone.
Little upset.
If we're gonna beat this thing, we need those pages.
No, I'm too stupid. You show me how.
Then let's head down into that cellar.
I love this show.
Ourselves a witch.
I'll never forget Sam describing this when we were writing it. It was just exactly perfect.
I don't remember.
I do. I just, and then it just, the visual is just absolutely just exactly the way you described. This is so cool.
I like building these gizmos. It's always those are entertaining parts of movies, I think. When heroes who normally wouldn't know how to do
montage
any of that.
sequence.
But you really don't quite sure what he's doing, and then you go, oh.
It took 4 months, but we've built it.
I know.
That's
Really,
right.
they come outside. It's like the next day.
This is a cool effect.
Look at you.
Groovy.
Ash is the
Now, that
cheesiest.
groovy is actually an on-set groovy, and then we looped a groovy over on top, so it's actually 2 groovies
Did
together.
Clint Eastwood loop one of those groovies?
Groovy.
I think he
That was a cool miniature when that
I love that. Horrible
root
tree
comes up.
creature.
That was really cool.
Roots-
Gary Jones,
it's
I think,
Route
was building it.
666.
I think Gary Jones built it for Tom Hitchcock and Bob Dyke. I think that's how it worked.
Because I remember, because you did that in post also, because I had never seen those shots, and when we came to Michigan for the reshoots, I remember seeing that. I go, man, it was really great stuff.
At the time, I was really impressed. Too.
The Ba Tree.
Finally, they've got their act together. You know, she's waiting with the axe.
Right. They
He's
gotta,
going to cut their ass with that
they're
saw.
working together. They're going to carve themselves up.
Those pages are down there somewhere.
It's funny, all their torments is because of that idiot Danny Hicks, Jake. He just screwed everything up. that
Right,
guy.
Jake is personally responsible for about 10 minutes in this picture.
He just really screwed things up. I mean, things were bad enough. I just look for those silly pages.
Actually, we missed the little
Peg
the little
it.
in joke in the shed, which was the Freddy Krueger claw. Remember that Tony Elwood made that was hanging above the door? Because didn't you have a Nightmare on Elm Street poster in the basement here? It was like a little homage to Wes.
That's right. The great Wes Craven. Mostly because what it was he in Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm sorry, on Hills Have Eyes, there was a Jaws poster that was torn in half after the creatures had gone through there. So we had thought that meant to say that Wes had meant to say the Jaws monster was just a pop culture icon, which these real monsters have torn to bits. This is real terror. So what Bruce and I and Scott did was we took a Wes Craven poster and Rob Tapert and tore that in half to say, no, Hills Have Eyes is just pop horror. This is real horror.
That's right. Then in Nightmare on Elm Street, the kid's watching an Evil Dead movie.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, Johnny Depp actually watching that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And now
Pretty
this, Sam, I still get email to this day about this.
Why did you go in the scene in the cellar and now your stainsaw's on your other hand? What happened with that?
It's like, shut up. The film was flopped so that the screen direction would work, but for a brief moment, my chainsaw goes to the opposite hand.
Hey, you're ambidextrous.
I think what happened
give
was
my
you
left
forgot
hand.
what hand it was one morning. You woke up with one of your hangovers. You put the saw in the wrong hand, and now you're going to have to take the blame.
Well, this
for
was
it.
actually, we shot this at the end of the schedule because they rebuilt the whole basement and added all these pipes. So
No,
after
but-
we were done shooting in the basement, then we went in and shot this stuff.
That's right.
But Bruce, you cut off your left hand and now your right hand is left.
Yeah, because I...
Yeah, that's always a good one. Ah, horse. Oh,
Oh my, that's right. That's supposed to be Jake.
Icky.
The horrible remnants of Jake.
Jake.
Poor Jake, I knew him.
Bone
well.
Man of Tartu. I got a bone to pick with you.
All right, I got the pages. Everything's all right now.
It's like he's nearsighted. He holds those things 2 inches from his eyes.
I know.
Yeah, cut the
Hey,
Sam.
but
Bring
it's-
him up
it's-
higher.
it's
Bring
really
him up
in a
higher. I
Kandarian.
can't see him in my frame. Bring him up higher.
Higher. Uh-oh. Never walk backwards in a horror movie, folks. Let this be a lesson to you. Out of his gourd. Boom, boom. Okay, I'm nervous.
Well, he'll make it just fine. We had to glue
Well,
like
at
a
least he
weight
got the
inside those
pages up
pages
there.
so they would all go up together.
It should
Looks like backwards motion.
I know, actually.
I was like, whoop.
This is cool. They're gonna.
All right, do your stuff, baby.
Yeah, there you go.
She saves your butt in this picture. I don't know how you would have survived.
Yeah.
Ah! Ow.
That was a Brusso cam. The camera was taped to my chest.
Yeah, she's taking charge.
I know. She's taking over. Whoa.
There goes the steps.
Well,
Let's
maybe
go.
maybe you'd like to have her fight the creature in the basement.
Actually, that would be good for Evil Dead 4. I think
What
I
the
might call it.
hey?
Thanks, Bruce.
I love this shot. Like, it's shot in weirdo motion, but it's funny. It's cool.
We're coming up
This
here.
was this was the
This was Torture Ted.
This was Torture Ted Day because we actually Rob Tapert and a couple other guys were underneath
Yeah!
pushing him up
Watch
on a
this shot.
platform, and he actually fell over and the suit ripped in half.
He's pouring sweat out of his
Yeah, you
mask
can.
here.
He was soaking the whole crew here,
No, there's one shot. You will see it on camera. Sweat horribly pouring
out of his
ear.
ear. I know. And there's even a big rip in the crotch of the suit because this was like the last week, and the suit had been destroyed. Here it is. This is a shot with the sweat pouring, I think, right here.
Right here. Right near the end.
Yeah, there it is,
Pouring
dripping
of the
out of
left
his
ear.
ear.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's horribly pouring out.
Oh.
Bruce, you said let's go. That was right before you broke up
I know, I
laughing.
started laughing horribly.
The bloat beast.
I love that sound of that woman screaming, ow!
Ow! Ow! Ow!
Ted.
She's molting.
He turns into a pencil neck geek. With that weird monkey sound. A minky.
The Pee-wee head. Now, I remember I was puppeteering
Damn
this.
dirty ape.
I had the Pee-wee head on my arm.
That's right.
So then we did all the shots of the close-up of it coming in.
Now, who did that sort of stop motion
Rick
stuff?
Catazone
Oh,
did that
okay,
stuff
yeah.
as well.
Are you sure Doug
Or
didn't do that?
Beswick? Yeah,
Doug Beswick may have, but I know Rick Catazone did a lot of it.
Remember I shot the plate and gave him the storyboard. The
Maybe
timings.
Doug Beswick did do this. Actually, I may be mistaken. So that was me with the Pee-wee head on my arm.
Saves you about a second time.
Huh. I'll send her a card.
I think she actually deserves starring credit the more I think about this.
Ow, ow, the pain.
And
Saw
Ash
you later.
The pain.
Dabs the monster in the back.
That was a farewell to arms.
There's monofilament.
I swallow your dome. I swallow your dome. Hey!
I love this. This is so bizarre.
That's the deflating balloons.
With,
It's just-
yeah,
it's
with,
just so
with red
weird.
smoke,
It's
red
kinda
smoke
cool.
coming out of it.
Watch it.
Great exploding head. This is a gelatin head.
Swallow this.
Ugh.
And Sam Raimi as the Beast.
And we put a fake foot on that head so that we didn't
That's
blow
right,
up
because
like
it actually had to really blow. I remember we all had to get out of there.
Yeah, we shot it like 500
Oh, that was a
frames
fake
second.
foot, eh?
Yeah.
It was permanently there.
Permalock.
Permalock, yeah.
Well, that's what he was saying. I'll swallow your soul of your shoe.
She's kind of the hero when you think about it. He's kind of doing that cleanup work.
I know.
I've never quite realized it until this moment.
But now the blood's on the other side of her shirt.
Everything's okay now. Well, we can go away together. You and me and Mommy.
What the heck?
Thus begins the Zoom Boom sequence, I think it was called.
Zoom Boom Room? A tarantula. This is cool.
We really got our money's worth out of that set, I gotta tell you.
I think so too. During this sequence, it was basically literally destroying it. The picture was shot sort of in sequence after the first couple of weeks.
At least everything on the stage was, once you got there.
Right.
Yeah. Cool that he caught that swing.
Yeah.
This has a real, like, demented Wizard of Oz-ish quality about it. Some of those trees.
We had everybody. I had everybody throwing fake boards. Tony and Blanche especially.
And I remember when we recorded the sound, we actually found a house in Michigan that was owned by someone in Florida. We got him to sign a release letter because it was an abandoned home. And we went in there with basically axes and hammers and stuff and just destroyed the home and just recorded it all for some of the sequence.
Yeah, this was like the last week of shooting was this thing.
Yeah, that place was falling apart, seriously.
Yeah. It was the day after the Evil Dead 2 talent show. Remember that?
The entrance
Remember the talent
of the
show
Rotten
we did?
Apple Head.
I do.
Yeah.
What did you do in the show?
Bruce loves his
I
shot.
played guitar for you guys, and you sang 8 Mile Line or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a memory block. Like when something horrible happens.
Yeah.
Now, incidentally, this Rotten Apple Head, we found out was used that same fall at a local Wadesboro haunted house. They just
Really?
put it at the end of a hallway. Because we didn't haul it back; it was too heavy. We just
There's where my hand went.
We left it.
Look at Bruce's face. I was looking for that thing.
I told you I needed a hand. I didn't mean that word.
So the Rotten Apple Head is so
Land of the
horrifying
Giant's
that it makes Bruce's hair turn gray there.
That's right.
That was actually, you did, didn't you guys animate that?
Yeah, it was a frame at a time.
Tom Sullivan did that with us.
Yeah.
And did a very good job. Although the concept at the time was he's so scared that his hair streaks white in that moment. I'm not sure that it's communicated properly. I mean, I don't think people have any idea what's supposed to be happening there. That's the Delta 88 Oldsmobile, the classic.
And the time tunnel's opening up.
It's been in every picture we've ever made.
Except
one.
Except one.
This is a cool shot. I love this.
Oh.
I'll gouge your eye out.
Oh, she's dead.
She can't say the words, fellas.
This is surreal.
No, that's all the faces of all the actors that have been killed by the evil force. There's a face of you in there, though.
I know,
which
because I'm next.
Gee, when those pages flew away, listen to the musical soundtrack. It sounds like Danny Elfman's Batman. Da 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 da.
Yeah, it does. It does. I'm gonna call Danny. Huh? Yeah.
Those heads were supposed to be all the souls that the thing had taken in the past.
Through the course of the movie, because there's each face cast that we did, they made a face for it.
I forgot whose idea that was. That was a great contribution, though.
Who designed that? I remember seeing the sketches. It was somebody you knew in Michigan.
Then there was something like that in one of the Nightmare movies, too. It was weird. Can't really remember. I don't know which one it was. I love that.
I like the stove.
I just keep thinking, expecting to see the woman on the bike from Wizard of Oz. Well, I'll just hold on to this.
Here I had to walk with chains on my feet because as soon as I get to the window, the effects guys yanked it up. Sam goes, "You walk like you got a problem." Yeah, I got 12 inches of chain.
Bully.
So I guess they were pulling your chain there.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I just said it before you did, Scotty.
Are you putting me on? There he goes. I'm falling.
That was your favorite blue screen day, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
The wire action there. This is Sam's favorite. Watch with him.
I like this very obscure part coming up. No, right here.
I know, I do too. Watch.
No, this is the weird one.
Check Benny playing the violin. What is that? It's pretty wacky.
He's time boy. He's caught between the nether time.
Watch it.
This was shot at a gravel pit outside of Wadesboro.
That's great. Remember that.
Scott, aren't you one of these guys that come in at the end?
Oh, yeah. One of the suit of armor guys, you can see.
And my Uncle Sidney is there.
Yeah, and Teddy. Teddy's one of the suit of armor guys. That's right.
And wasn't someone else there?
Jeffrey.
This was the North Carolina National Guard, I think, were kind
That's
enough
right.
to come.
They came in with a big busload of these guys.
Did you, like, desaturate the color in this or something? Give it kind of like, or no?
Yes, Kay Davis and an optical effects man from a laboratory in Los Angeles desaturated the negative.
Looks pretty
I think
cool.
I don't know if
Look
they
at
broke
Sid.
into the 3 primaries or not and recomposited them, but I think that's what happened.
It gives it a nice, cool, like,
That's,
otherworldly...
Tom Sullivan animation.
Tom Sullivan.
Yeah, that Deadite,
excellent
winged Deadite, like, really looks cool.
He and Bart Pierce really worked together well on this picture and Evil Dead 1.
Right. Ugh.
Was that your version of it there?
No, that was his version.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. He built the
I remember he was like exploding cantaloupes and trying to analyze how
That's
that
Ted
looked.
Raimi there coming down the slope.
You can just tell, right?
Yeah, it's just, you know that's Ted. Just by
Exactly.
the way he moves. Wonder who this other guy is.
I don't know, I think...
G.I.
I wonder who that...
Ah!
Oh, no! Sam. And Sid and Ted.
My wife has since seen me act, and she has barred me from appearing in any other motion pictures.
Is that right?
That's her contribution to the industry.
Now, guys, this voice track here was recorded in Ferndale. This was also from the temp, and Sam liked this better, so we wound up using it in the finished thing.
Sam,
Had a rough quality to it.
Aren't I like the fist on the
Rob
right
is-
side of frame?
Rob is the late hand at the end.
Oh, okay. I might be
Tapper.
one of the ones...
And you're late. And in the movie.
Oh, so it is Rob.
You were on time. You had good timing.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's
Starring-
too
who's
tough
that,
with
Bruce
Sam.
who?
You can't miss a trick with that guy.
Well, therein lies
But it was great
the
fun
picture.
writing this, pal.
Irvin Shapiro was our mentor. He really gave us our chance by selling the first Evil Dead picture. And so he was our honorary producer on
My
this
boss.
film.
Peter Deming, who also shot Scream 2 and Austin Powers.
Shag it, man.
Philip Duffin, great job. Randy was our original production designer. Kay did a great job cutting it. Cassie was a great pleasure to work with. So was all these people were.
Yeah, I think it worked out pretty well with all the actors. They were pretty game. Which
And we tortured everybody,
You had to
too,
be. Everyone got tormented equally, pretty much.
Torture pleasures me.
That's right. Blanche did a stunt or two. What did she do? She was the prop woman, and she's there under stunts. She did some crazy thing.
I don't remember.
Blanche.
Joe Winograd, great AD. He really had us prepared properly.
Yeah, Joe Wino.
Elizabeth
Greatest.
Moore worked great as our set decorator. Very talented.
Best boy.
And Tim Philo from the original Evil Dead movie.
Mm-hmm.
Did some
credited
second
here
unit
as well.
photography. I forgot about that.
Right.
Look at that. Berger, Kurtzman, Nicotero. This was actually before K&B existed.
Right,
but
right.
This was
Basically,
sort of,
right after this picture, you guys formed K&B, pretty
Yeah.
much, right?
Yeah. Dave Kinlan. That's right. Larry O'Dean. The gang. Oh, yeah. See, Tree Branch Rotten Apple, Doug Beswick.
There's actually quite a bit of effects in this picture for what you could consider a low-budget movie.
Yeah,
it's
we
pretty
were
chock full of it.
And it was one of those things where we were there every day. Brian Ray now works at K&B. He's been with us for about 5 years. Yeah, see, there's the Rick Catazone, who's from Pittsburgh. I actually knew Rick through Tom Savini before I actually even moved out to L.A.
Right.
Mike Janesco.
Michael J. Nescu.
And Mike Ditz, our old friend from our Super 8 days, was a still photographer.
The winner and still photographer. Scary music. Special thanks to everybody.
Betty and Harry Huntley, they were the owners of the property where the cabin is, so don't try and look them up. You can't get on.
Scott Spiegel, fake Shemp.
The fake Shemp category appears once again.
The amazing voice of William Preston Robertson. He's a great actor, that William Preston.
Bully.
He's appeared in some of the Coen Brothers pictures.
I love it. The sequel to The Ultimate Experience in Grueling Terror.